Welcome back to our Common Core series, 1-1. This is part F of the series. F for fantastic. But before we begin, I want to tell you why you should definitely chew between bites. Okay, that was scary. Let's get started, shall we? First, let's review. If you take a look here as a fraction, remember there's top and bottom. Yes, the numerator and denominator. But all I care about is the fact that the top, the numerator, means part of something, and the bottom means the whole thing. For instance, suppose you said you have 2 reds out of 5. So imagine there's 5 pieces and you have 2, the red being the 2 you have. So you have 2 out of a whole 5. Therefore, you have 2/5. Now, suppose I want to take this, though, and cut it in half. So your share is 2, but then the whole thing gets sliced in half, and you only get 2 of them. So, okay, so we're going to take 2/5 times 1/2, meaning I'm going to slice, and this half is now gone. You still have 2 pieces, but clearly they're smaller than they were. Now, how much do you have? Well, it appears there's now 10 boxes, and you still have 2, but instead of 2 out of 5, you have 2 out of 10. The question I ask you is, do you have more or less than you did before? And I hope you realize that you have less amount, even though you still have 2 pieces still. So there are 10 squares total, but the 2 you also cut in half. The cut part you don't keep, so you have to throw those 2 out of 10. So top over bottom times top over bottom. Let me show you. So 2/5 times 1/2, all you have to do is take top times top. 2 times 1, which makes 2, and 5 times 2, which makes 10. 4 now will make it 2/10. Yes, you might know it's 1/5, but that's next page. So 2 out of 10, 2 reds out of 10, because you have 2. Remember, you had 2 out of 5, then it got cut in half. You still got your 2, but because it got cut in half, there's now 10 squares, and you only get 2. But notice, remember, if I can divide the top and bottom by 2 for each one, divide the top by 2 and divide the bottom by 2, I get 1/5. And notice, if there was 5 boxes, you would have 1 out of the 5. So it looks the same. An example. Take this nice, pretty square, looks like Little Caesar's pizza, pepperoni style. Hey, if you're hungry, go get something to eat. It's flip class. You don't have to sit there in class and be hungry. Go pause the video and go get a snack. Anyway. So you have a square pizza, and you get half. So we'll go ahead and I'll take my share, and you get half. So I got half, and you got half. That's how we do it. But 2 of your friends showed up, so you need to split your side of pizza into thirds. So each one you get an equal piece. My question to you is, how much do you actually get if you've shared your 2 pieces, and this is what you get? How much of the pizza was there? Well, we cut it in half, and then we basically cut it into thirds. Now, my greedy self, I kept all my pizza because I'm like that. But you shared some of your pizza because you're nice. And so, looks like you have 1 piece out of a potential 6. Now, how'd you get 1/6? Well, 1/2 times 1/3. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. Remember, top times top, bottom times bottom. That's how it works. So that's basically what I'm doing here is you're taking the top numbers, the numerators, or the parts. 1 times 1 is 1, and the bottoms, 2 times 3 is 6. And if you were to take this, 3/7 times 5/9, you would have 3 times 5 is 15, 7 times 9 is 63. Don't forget that you can divide both by 3 and make it 5/21. You try. Go ahead and pause. Let's see how you did. Hopefully you knew that 4 times 1 is 4, and 5 times 3 is 15. You try again. Okay, let's see how you did. 28 over, I believe, 75. And I don't think that's breakable, so that should be good to go. One more. Okay, 2 times 5 is 10. 9 times 7 is 63. Skills practice. Go ahead and pause it this time and see what you can do. Oh, by the way, there are 6. So go ahead and take these 4, hit pause. Hopefully you had your answers written down. Now try these 2. Pause. Let's see how you did. Well, for 1 and 2, I have 7/24 and 12/65. 3 and 4, I got 2 over 21 and 91 over 270. And 5 and 6, I have 1 over 182 and 8 over 9. I hope you got them right as well. Now, when you deal with the negative, it's not a big deal. The biggest thing is a positive times a positive is a positive. A negative times a negative is also a positive, because two negatives cause one to flip and make a positive. Negative, negative, touch makes a positive. But a positive and a negative makes it stay negative. So if you have one of each, that's negative. If you have two of the same, it turns into a positive. Or if you simply have an odd number of negatives, where it's 1, 3, 5, 1,000,001, it's going to turn negative. If it's an even number, it's like think of like a dance. If everyone can dance with somebody, why, that's a positive. But if someone's sticking around and doesn't have anybody to dance with, that's negative. So when you have an even number, it turns positive. But if someone's stuck by themselves, that's negative. And that's how you remember it. So 1 times 1 is 1, 7 times 3 is 21, and a negative and a positive makes a negative, because one negative's all by himself. So he doesn't get to dance with no one. Sad, sad. Negative times a positive equals a negative. So, negative 21. Negative 1 over 21, excuse me. You try. Go ahead and pause. Let's see how you did. Negative times a positive is a negative. 1 times 1 is 1. 9 times 3 is 27. You try again. Pause. Let's see how you did. Two negatives make a positive. 3 times 1 is 3. 7 times 8 is 56. Do one more if I have it for you. Nope, skills practice. We're going to show in parts. So go ahead, here's 1 through 4. Go ahead and pause and solve. Alright, let me scroll the screen down. Pause and solve. Let's see how you did. First one, two negatives make a positive, 1 over 24. This one here makes negative 2 over 65. Next one's negative 4 over 21. Next one's 7 over 64. Negative 1/12 and 48 over 169. Now again, all these can be done with said calculator. I know that, ABC button, I get it. But you probably know now that I'm going to give you something new to challenge you, because this is flipped class, so we're going to do something a little different. Take a look at this. Since a times a is a squared, remember a couple of sections ago we talked about if you multiply a letter, it just makes that letter square. And if you have 1/9 times 1/3, you know 1 times 1 is 1, and 9 times 3 is 27. Now take a look at this. B over D times B over D, well, B times B is B squared. Just means there's two B's. D times D is D squared, and that is your answer. It doesn't matter what B and D is per se, it just matters that you put them together. When you assign a value, then we'll figure that out. And look at this. A times B. Now, I don't know what they are, but A and B can touch, because touching means times, so A times B is just AB. And C times D is CD. So really what you have is AB over CD. If you're having a little trouble with this, I will go over it next day in class. Don't worry about it, but this is algebra. And hey, since we're doing one thing, let's teach you algebra as well. Now also, AB over EJ times BC over GJ. I have an A, so A is by itself. I have two B's, so it's B squared. Not 2B, but B squared, meaning B times B. And I have one C. So 1A, okay. 2 B's, gotcha. 1 C, okay. And I have an E, I got that. And I have a G, I'm going to try to go in alphabetical order. Have a G, okay. And 2 J's, J squared. That's as far as it goes. Now, if they gave me the value of A, B, C, E, J, and G, I could figure out what it is. But since they can't, that's where we're at. And finally, A over B times B over R, there's two ways to do this. I could take A times B, alright, AB. B times R is BR. But remember, there's a B on top and bottom, so I can cancel these and just have A over R. Or, if you remember, we could just pre-divide them out to begin with, divide the B out for both, and just have A over R. That works too. You try. Go ahead. Pause. Let's see how you did. I get XY over DM. Now, I don't know what XY or DM is. If they gave me those values, I could give you a number, but since they didn't, there you are. Second one, T squared over ZM. And again, if you tell me what T, Z, and M is, I can help you further. This one, A cubed B, I'm going to do a little pre-dividing, meaning since I know there's a B on top and bottom, I'm going to divide them out. Then the bottom just has an R squared. Now, if you don't get that one, don't worry about it. It's a little more advanced. Only some are going to get that, but if you did, props. This one, well, d square, r, and b square. I'm going to try to go in alphabetical order, so I'm going to have b square, d square, r. And down here, I'm going to go, let's see, d cubed. Now, it's something new I'm going to show you here. Yeah, sorry. I'm going to have e to the 5th and r. Now, I'll accept that for now, but notice how there's 2 d's on top and 3 d's in the bottom? In a later lesson, it's going to look like this. You know, d times d over 3 d's. And what they're going to do is they're going to cancel these 2 out and leave a d on the bottom. So if you have this, that's fine. But if you did this, now, you have b squared and r over d e to the 5th r, then you're like Disney magical, because that would be amazing. If you didn't, don't sweat it. We'll do more in class tomorrow. And that's where we're going to end it for today.